Today's journey takes us to the Mound Cemetery in historic Marietta, Ohio. This cemetery is very unique and very historical. Not only does this cemetery hold the final remains of many Revolutionary War soldiers, including high-ranking officers, it is built surrounding ancient Native American burial grounds. In the center of this cemetery is a large mound built by the Adena Native American tribe. Archaeologists estimate that this mound was built between 100 BC and 500 AD. Marietta was a city that was established in 1788 by pioneers that came from Massachusetts after the Revolutionary War, which saw officers receive land grants after their service. It is said that this cemetery holds the final remains of more Revolutionary War officers than any other cemetery in the United States. The founders of Marietta preserved the mound in 1801 by establishing this cemetery all around it. Today we will take a walk through the cemetery, read some of the headstones, and speak the names of a few of those laid to rest in this historic place. And you can see there Caleb Emerson, born of Ashley, Massachusetts. And I did not realize this, that basically the whole town was founded by pioneers that came from Massachusetts. Most of those had served in the American Revolution. I thought this was very unique. Mary Antoinette, wife of Reverend Thomas Wicks, which lies there to her left, my right, pastor of the First Congregational Church in Marietta. I thought that was very neat. This whole cemetery, I mean, I could just go to so many different stones in here and give history. You can see many markers here for the American Revolution, and just a very unique place. I mean, you can see the stones are unique and just a lot of history here. Now what we're going to do, we're just going to be going through a little bit of a walk, and I'll show you some of the sites in the Mound Cemetery in Marietta. You can see the name right there, Memory of Rebecca Walton, native of New England, and that is just a theme. I don't live too far from Ohio. This particular area is about 3 hours from me, so I was familiar with Marietta, although I did not know the history of Marietta, which I found to be very neat. I mean, if you're looking for a place to go just to capture some history and see some unique things, this is a place to go. And you can see right there in the middle, born April 10th, 1790 something. But I saw a lot of graves here, people born in the 1700s, which makes it one of the older cemeteries that I have filmed in. There's a brick path, of course, leading up to this area. Sacred to the memory of all pioneers of Washington County, Ohio, 1788 through 1830, which I think is just very neat. Another sign here that talks about Mound Cemetery, and I really like the bottom of this. It is most fitting that many of the first settlers were buried here beside the ancient inhabitants. If you look, and we're going to take a better look at it in just a moment, but just beyond this sign, right behind it, those are the Native American mounds, which were built by the Adena Native American tribe. And archaeologists, like I mentioned at the beginning, I mean, this is old. I mean, this is not just something that dates back to the 1800s. This is ancient. So I really wasn't expecting to see that, and I really wasn't expecting the size of that. You can see here we've got a little pathway. It's kind of built up around the mound, almost a walkway all the way around, and that is on my right. The mound is on my right, and of course we're looking over to my left, walking through the cemetery. But you can see here just very historical, very beautiful. It just is a beautiful place, and I love the individual plots. And you see a few of those in here where it's got the fencing and things around, and I just did not realize that there was this much of a tie back to the American Revolution. And most of these graves in here, a lot of those I should say, I thought this one was rather neat too. You can see that the stone has fallen. I'm not exactly sure how that was built originally, but I found it unique enough to come over and video that. One thing I did notice though is a lot of people had things on their graves talking about their home and where they came from. This is the grave of General Benjamin Tupper. He was an officer in the Continental Army, And you can see the other names on the stone as well. Huldah White, wife of Benjamin Tupper, Major Anselm Tupper of the Army of the American Revolution. There are some replacement markers in here, I could tell, but some of these are original. Well, a lot of them are original, rather. Sacred to the memory of Ebenezer Sproat of the Army of the Revolution. So another Revolutionary War soldier. I did like this behind here. Colonel Ebenezer Sproat, Sheriff of the Northwest Territory. The first to serve, 1788 through 1802. So, just a lot of history here that I wasn't expecting, and maybe I should have been, but Commodore Abraham Whipple, and he was a Revolutionary War commander. I really enjoyed this stone here. I thought it was just everything about it. The fencing, you can see the age on the fence as well. I just thought that was so neat. So glad to be able to see that. So as I'm walking amongst the those laid to rest here, I mean, you can just really, and this is one of those places that you go to, you can just feel the history. Sally Bradley, you can see right there, and Ann Whittier. And you can see right there on the right, Ann Whittier was born in Marietta, Ohio. So obviously somebody born, I would say a pioneer daughter would be my guess. Just so many stones in here that we could look at. So many stones that we did look at. Impossible to read all of those. So I just wanted to take a general walk through the cemetery so you can see some of the sites and kind of get a feel as to what this looks like. And yeah, there's a lot to see here. I would be curious if anyone has ever heard of this place. Also, if anyone in here watching is from Marietta, I would love to hear about it. Please leave me a comment below. And if you've ever been here, leave me a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Have you ever been in any cemeteries that has this many American Revolution soldiers? Now, it is said that as far as officers go, this cemetery holds the final remains of more American Revolutionary soldiers than any other cemetery in the United States. And we're taking a walk to the back. We're going to get to that large back stone there eventually. Let's take a look and see the name on this stone. Gershom Flagg. And you can see again, Continental Army, Revolutionary War. Just so many pioneers and patriots in this cemetery. I thought this one was really neat. Lizzie, the name Lizzie on there. I really thought that was a unique stone. I like seeing that. We are coming upon the grave of Rufus Putnam. Rufus Putnam was a general in the Continental Army. And also, in addition to that, the first Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Free and Accepted Masons of Ohio. So this guy, even after leaving the Continental Army as a general, still had a lot of, looks like, leadership positions afterwards. There is a view of the mound. There are steps you can see right there going up on the mound. I didn't really feel great about doing that, so I did not go up on the mound. I don't know. I'm sure some people, and maybe some of you, that doesn't bother at all, but I don't know. There was just something about it that I just didn't feel like I should go walk on that mound. So I did not do that. But you can see here, this is behind the mound. I'm going to, show you the stones and things behind here, and you can see some of the beauty on this, surrounding this. And I know you all would not be watching this video if you did not like cemeteries and exploring cemeteries, which means a lot to me to be able to bring this to you, especially if you have never been here or have never seen anything like this, because the history and the burials and the final resting places of the heroes of the Revolution, along with the ancient Native American burial grounds, I think just makes for an amazing cemetery visit. Colonel William Stacy, Revolutionary War soldier, born in Massachusetts, 1730, came to Marietta, 1788, proprietor in Ohio, and the foreman of the first grand jury in Ohio, died Marietta, Ohio, 1802. And you can see there that this stone was erected by descendants in 1928. And not only is there history here, and a lot of it, people take pride in it, because you will see things like that where these markers were put up later, even the replacement markers in there as well. So it's so nice to see history. A lot of times on the cemetery visits that I go to, especially in the hills of Kentucky, there's a lot of history, but sometimes it's not respected, you know, the way that it should. So here is the view on the little pathway walking out of the cemetery the same way that we came in. You can see the backside of the stones and the path out of here. If you like cemetery videos, that is all I do. So I would love, if you have not subscribed, maybe this is the first video of mine that you have seen, please subscribe and join me. We do have a good time on this channel. I try to be very interactive, and I try to respond to all the comments, so we would love to have you. So please like, subscribe, leave me a comment, and join. And once again, from Marietta, Ohio, at the Mound Cemetery, I will see you again soon.